Well, one of the things that's really interesting to me, when I read Arnold's book on the preaching of Islam, you know, he says that Muslims were actively engaged in spreading their religion until the end of the Khilafah. At late 19th century, it just stopped spreading. There was very little done. And I just thought that was really interesting, that Muslims always had missionaries. They usually came out of the Sufis. I mean, even Ibn Taymiyyah writes that the Mubtadi'ah amongst the Sufis did great service by spreading Islam in places no one else wanted to go to. Because they would go they went to the Bogomils. I mean, Albania became Muslim over centuries. You know, the Turks arrived there in the 15th century, but it took several hundred years before they really, and they're still, the Albanians, the Arnaut, they're still very nationalistic as a people, but it took a long time. Egypt, according to Khalid Blankenship, who I trust, did not reach 50% for the first 300 years. It was mostly Christian. Syria did not reach 50% for the first 500 years. Andalusia never reached 50%. There was always a majority of Christians. And so Muslims have this fantasy that, you know, the Muslims just showed up and everybody said, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. It doesn't work like that. They lived with these people of different religions. And they treated them sometimes well and other times not so well, and sometimes better than other places treated minorities. And sometimes they did horrible things. So they're human. But overall, you know, our tradition just, I think, and the Prophet inculcated this in his Sahaba, he had an incredible tolerance for idiosyncrasies and bizarre behavior, and he really tolerated people as they were. And that's why he had some crazy people around him that are clear in the seerah. He had jokesters, like Nu'ayman is a clear jokester, and the Prophet tolerated him, you know. He went and bought him all these gifts and brought him, and then the man shows up and he said, you know, you owe me some money to the Prophet. He said, why? He said, Nu'ayman said that you were going to pay for these, you know. You know, so, and he allowed for different, the one thing that he really did not like was religious extremism, really bothered him. The Prophet was very bothered by ghulu. Even in ibadah, he did not like people to do excessive ibadah, like too much fasting, too much. He was very temperate and moderate. Dhikr is another thing, doing a lot of dhikr, but doing, you know, the kind of, he said, La rahbaniyata fil Islam. There's no monkery in Islam. So he was very wary of that. He didn't like extremism. But, you know, when we were at the conference in Marrakesh, and the Imam al-Haramain was there, Abdul Fattah bin Nis, one of the great munshideen of Morocco, got up and sang. He sang, and then Sam Yusuf got up and sang. Well, one of the Christian ladies from the evangelical tradition, she got up and she just burst into song, you know. And I saw these ulama in the front were kind of like, you know. And I mentioned it later to Sheikh Abdullah, and he said, "Khaliha tughanni," yani let her sing. He's just not uptight. You know, it's just let people be who they are. You know, as long as they're not like harming or, you know. So anyway.